All right, so looking at this system here, you have a lot of choices for what to go for first. Which variable did you choose to eliminate out first? Z. Cool, then let's eliminate out Z. So I'm just going to write it up here. We're aiming for Z here. You can eliminate out whichever variable you want. It does not matter. We're picking Z, honestly, probably because of these two right here. I have one with no coefficient that's positive and one with no coefficient that's negative. This makes it very, very easy to get anything I want to eliminate out. So I'm just giving them names so it's easier to talk about. A, B, and C. So what did we use as our pairs of equations to eliminate out Z? What pairings could we make? A and B would work quite well to eliminate out a Z. And I don't even need to multiply any of them because they're already set up. So we know we need to use C in another pair. What should go with C? B. What would we need to multiply B by? B times 3. Because I need my letters to have the same number with opposite sign. So if I multiply this guy by 3, I'll wind up with my Z's canceling out. So we're going to do that. I'm going to make this page stay out. So I'm going to put my equations in here. I've got my A, that's my X plus 3Y plus Z equals 8. And my B is my 3X plus 2Y minus Z equals 14. And so I'm going to do this addition first, and we're going to add these two equations together. X plus 3x gives me 4x. 3y plus 2y gives me 5y. Z plus negative z, those cancel out. And then we have 8 plus 14. Which gives me 22. So, okay, cool. They'll probably send me an email here in just a second about it. I got you. All right, so then we're going to do equation C, because we haven't used that one yet. So that's my 2x minus y plus 3z equals 1. And we decided we were going to put that against b times 3. So that's going to be 9x plus 6y minus 3z. And then we have our 14 times 3, which is 42. And again, old school style, I'm going to add these guys together. So my 2x plus 9x gives me 11x. My minus y plus 6y gives me 5y. 3z minus 3z cancels out. We get 1 plus 42, which is 43. Questions on that part? Because we're not done. What we need to do now is we need to take these two pink equations and solve that system. I have a whole brand new system, this pink system. So if I have my 4x plus 5y equals 22, and I have 11x plus 5y equals 43, how will I solve this system? Yeah, to eliminate out the y's, that's an excellent and probably easiest choice we could make here. Is if I multiply one of these equations by -1, then my y's are going to cancel out. I could absolutely aim for the x's, but that is definitely going the hard way, uphill. So I'm going to pick the top one to multiply by -1, simply because this bottom one has bigger numbers, and if the smaller ones are negative, then I will wind up, in general, with positives. So I'm going to keep the second equation exactly as it is. I'm just going to put it down here. My 11x plus 5y equals 43. And I'm going to multiply that top equation by -1. So we're going to have -4x, -5y, and -22. So now we're going to come in here and add these guys together. So I've got 11x plus -4x. What are we going to get there? My y's cancel. We get 21. So what does x equal? 3. Woohoo, we have our first piece. So I know x equals 3. That is one piece of our solution. Now I need to find y. So I'm going to grab something, anything from that purple cloud up there. Any of my two variable equations, because now I know one of them, I can find the other. I'm going to go for it. I was also thinking that that one would be easier to work with because it's smaller numbers. Exactly the same reason I would have picked that one. So I'm going to use the one that starts with a 4x. So I'm going to take my 4, but instead of just using x, I know that x is supposed to equal 3 for our solution. So we're going to have 4 times 3 plus 5y equals 22, which means 12 plus 5y equals 22. What do we do next? Subtract 12. I get 5y equals 10. So what does y equal? Y equals 2. Yeah. That is absolutely, I followed your train of thought there. We're good. Solving for z, because that's our last remaining variable, we can pick any of our original 3 equations. I need something that has a z in it still. So a, b, or c, all of them are equally fine. However, since we want to know what z is, I'm going to grab the one where z does not have any extra funny business outside. It's 1z. Then I won't have to divide by anything or deal with negative signs. So I'm going to use a. So we have that our x, which is 3, plus 3 times our y, which is 2, plus z equals 8. That is definitely meant to be the number 8. Just thinking the letter A really loudly. So this is equation A that I chose, simply because my z has the least amount of stuff on it. So we're going to go through and simplify. I've got 3 plus 3 times 2 is 6, plus z is 8. Combining our like terms, I've got 9 plus z is 8. So what's our z going to be? -1. So our solution to this system is the ordered triple 3, 2, -1. That's our answer. And I know there's a lot of work on these, and there's lots of steps, and there's lots of pieces. We're going to practice another one of these today. Because I know these are long and obnoxious, and that was the bell work. Okay. Questions on this or on any of the pieces? Okay. So I mentioned it yesterday. We're going to do more of these today. We're going to do another set of this today. They don't get worse. We're not about to kick this up a notch. I know a lot of times I'm be like, okay, now we're going to kick it up a notch and then another notch and then these don't get worse. They're already gross enough. So we're just going to do another set of this today since we already did one in bell work. We've done things in notes. That one looks really, really similar. Hang on a second. Is that the exact same? No, it's just shockingly similar to the bell work question.
It looks like they just changed a couple numbers.
Yes, in fact, that is. It's just that the top equation is really similar. Everything's different. There's just some 2 Y's and some 3 Z's.
They took the lazy route. It's fine.
Yeah, it's different. It is different. I was just double checking because it got the vibe that those were a little close together. So this is going to be the last day. This is the last of the chapter today. This is the end piece. We are finishing out the chapter today, and this is it. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to make it easy to talk about things, is I'm going to label my equations. I like to call them A, B, and C. You can call them whatever you want. I just find it easier to talk about and plan if I have something to think about them as opposed to the 3x1, the 4x1, and the 5x1. What's up, Darren?
Did you look to see?
I have not yet, because I'm talking. When I'm done, I'll look at that. All right. So look through here and see which variable you think we should eliminate out.
There's one. There's
Yeah.
negative Z and then plus.
Yeah.
Plus.
Ooh, that was not that thing I meant. I meant the highlighter. So I have this Z that has no coefficient. So I like that one a lot anyway. But I also have a Z that has a negative in front of it. So that's going to make it really easy to eliminate things out as I need. I could also use Y. This one would not be terrible to eliminate out. I could 100% do that one. It's not too bad. The hardest option would be to use X's. You can do it. It's totally fine. It is the hardest option here, though. So since I have 2 good options in Z and 1 good option in Y and no good options in X, I'm going to go with Z's. So we're going to eliminate out our Z's first. So I just talk us through that so we know how I made that choice or how we made that choice. Because when it comes time for things like homework and review and test stuff, you got to figure out how to make the choice yourself. So when we're doing that and trying to get our Z's to eliminate out, what 2 equations should we pair up? What equation pairs would make our Z's cancel out? A and C. Absolutely, that's a good pair. So we need B to be with something for our second pair. So what would B go well with? A. A straight up, or does A need something multiplied it? A times 3 in order to get my Z's to cancel out. So I like to make my plan here at the beginning and then go through and fill things in. But if you want to do things in a slightly different order, that's entirely your choice. So we picked A and C because then I have that positive Z and that negative Z. The Z's will cancel out and I don't have to multiply by anything. We love that. Easy options. So now I'm going to put my equations in here. So my A, that's my 3x minus y minus z equals 2. And my c, that's my 5x plus 3y plus z equals 8. And then I'm actually going to come in and fill in my other equations too, just so since we're here. I've got the right color on the pen. So I'm going to fill in my other pair of equations too. My minus 4x minus 2y plus 3z equals 19. And I'm going to take my a times 3. That's going to give me my 9x minus 3y minus 3z equals 6. Any questions on which equations I picked or why? Okay. So now we're going to come through and do both of these additions. So, no. On our first one, I've got 3x plus 5x. That's going to give me 8x. Minus y plus 3y gives me 2y. Minus z plus z cancels out. And then we have 2 plus 8, which is 10. On our bottom pair, I've got my minus 4x plus 9x. That's going to give us a 5x. Minus 2y plus minus 3y gives us minus 5y. 3z minus 3z, those cancel out. And I get 19 plus 6, which is 25. Questions on that part? Okay. So now we're going to look at pink and red. Our resulting equations. What variable do we want to eliminate out between pink and red? Y sounds like a plan to me. You can use either one. Y will give us smaller values because the coefficients are smaller, but you can use either one. You could, even if you really wanted to, solve pink is actually set up, actually both of them were set up nicely for substitution, kind of. They would not wind up fractioning if you prefer that. So if we want to eliminate out our y's, what do I need to multiply the pink one by?
5.
Yeah, if I multiply this red one by 2, what we're going to have is 8x times 5 gives me 40x plus 5 times 2y gives me 10y, and 10 times 5 gives me 50. Then taking the red one to multiply by 2, I'm going to have 10x minus 10y equals 25 times 2 gives me 50. So we got some big numbers here, but they're not hard to work with. So now we're going to do this set of elimination. Give me like 2 more minutes because we're actually pretty close to the end on this one. So we've got our 40x plus 10x. It's going to give us 50x. My 10y minus 10y is 0 y's. So those cancel out. And we have 50 plus 50, which is 100. So I have 50x equals 100. So what does our x equal? X equals 2. So we have one piece of our solution right here. Now we get to go find all the others. So to find my y, I need to go back and grab one of my two variables. So I could pick this equation or this equation, but that's being mean. I could use this equation or I could use this equation.
I think we should use 5x minus 5y.
We can absolutely use 5x minus 5y. Just gotta find my red pen again. There we go. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take that 5, but now I know that my x is actually 2 minus 5y equals 25. So you can use whichever of these two variable equations you want. It genuinely does not matter. We just picked this one because we could. So 5 times 2 gives me 10 minus 5y equals 25. So what are we going to do next?
Subtract 10.
Subtract 10. Leaves me with negative 5y equals 15.
And then y would be negative 3.
Y equals negative 3. So we have our y equals negative 3.
We should use a because there's no coefficients to multiply on y.
Looking for z. You could use a or you could use c. Either one of those would be good options. Since a has that negative sign, we would wind up having to divide at the end to change signs. So I'm actually going to go with c. But you should still get the same answer if you used a. 100%, you should still get the same answer.
I don't know why, but I thought x was z, so that's why I did that.
That's okay. It's 7:43 in the morning, and that is an early time for mathing. I get it. So I'm going to use c simply because then my z's don't have anything in front of them. I'm going to use that positive one. So I'm going to have my 5 times my x, so 5 times 2, plus 3 times my y, which is negative 3, plus z equals 8. So we're going to simplify this out. 5 times 2 gives me 10. 3 times negative 3 gives me minus 9. Plus z equals 8. Well, combining some like terms here, I've got 10 minus 9, which is 1, plus z equals 8. So what is z? 7. So our solution, which I'm going to squish it in over here on the side, is the ordered triple 2, negative 3, 7, like this. And yes, I do want you to write it as an ordered triple in the parentheses. That would be a point. These kinds of problems are usually like 5 to 7 points. So they're big chunks because there's lots of steps in here. I think I've seen it be as high as 10 points at one point. And writing it in the order triple will be one of those points. So whatever you get, put it into the thingy. Even if it's chaotic and weird, or if we only wind up with 2 of them, give me whatever we got. Okay. Questions on this one? Well, part of the problem is because it's really hard to write these systems and have them both be doable, not be fractionally, decimally, and gross, and still wind up with whole numbers at the end. So, yeah. Because for some reason the computers that write the softwares that like to write these almost always have a half as one of your points. So it's really hard to actually make the computer write them with only whole numbers, so we have to write them by hand, and that is obnoxious. So we do not have a ton of these on anything we do. The homework for these only had 3 of these kinds of problems. I believe the review has 1 on it. The test will at most have 1 on it. I make no promises about having 1 versus not having 1, but we'll have at most 1. I will never put 2 on there because they take a while. They take time. Questions on this one before I change the page? That is the end of chapter 2. Our chapter test is Friday, this Friday. When you walked in, there was a pile on my little table up there that is the review packet for the chapter. So technically, the 3 variable systems is due tomorrow. You've also got the next 10 minutes where you can work on it in here. You can ask questions. I am happy to help you. Do the thing and let me know how I can help. Rock on. I will check it. Kennedy, I'm writing your pass now. Thank you for your patience.